Welcome to this next video. I'm going to be talking about the for loop and the do something a specific number of times template. So first of all, let's open up a editor window. Let's get rid of this program that's in here. Let me put this up where you can see a little bit better. So let's look at a simple example of a for loop. And here's a for loop that's going to just display the numbers 1 through 10. Oops, keep doing that. So we set our index variable to 1. Test for the index variable being less than or equal to 10. Increment by 1 each time through the loop. And then we're simply going to display each value of I as it goes through the loop. And so what we should see when we run this program is 1 through 10 with each number on its own line. Take it just a moment to compile, and there's 1 through 10. So let's look at another example. So this time we're going to compute interest on a very simple savings account. We're going to have it compute simple interest of 1% annually for 20 years with no extra money being added into the account. So we create a rate variable, a constant, set it to 1.01. The number of years we're going to compute for is 20, so we set another constant for that. Our initial balance is going to be $1,000. So there's our balance variable. Now here comes our for loop. So we're going to start at 1. While I is less than or equal to num years. And then increment I by 1. And we're simply going to multiply the balance times the rate and store it back in the balance. And then when we're finished, we're going to print. We're going to format that to 2 decimal places. And that should be all we need. So again, this loop is going to run 20 times, starting with I equal 1 and going up until I is equal to 20, and then the body simply multiplies the balance times the rate and stores it back in the balance. So let's run that program. And so we'll see that at the end of 20 years, the balance on that account is $1,220.19. One more example of a for loop, doing something a specified number of times. We're going to print some bar charts of some sales data for some retail stores. So the first thing we're going to do is create some constants to represent the sales in our stores. So we have 3 stores. There's our stores. We're going to store the bar chart in a string variable called bar, so we're going to declare that variable. And then our bar chart is going to be set to asterisk, so there's our constant for that. Our loop is going to run while the first store divided by 100. I'm sorry, while I is less than or equal to when sorted by 100, but divided by 100. In other words, each bar is going to represent $100 in sales. So there's our loop to build our chart. Then we're going to just display the bar. Whoops. There we go. Then we set the bar back to empty string and compute the next one. So I'm just going to go ahead and type all this in. It's the very same code, so I don't really need to explain it. And then finally our third store. Okay, with that we should be complete. Let's file, save, and then compile and run. Whoops, oh, we have a little problem. Let's find that. So clearly I did not get something right somewhere. Let's see, where was our error? Line 16, so we'll run down to 16. Oh, I see. Getting a little C++ bias in my coding. Alright, let's clear the screen. Run again. And there's our bar charts. So I'm going to bring the code back up one more time so you can take a look at it. So what we've seen is the way that you use a for loop to execute a set of statements a specific or a specified number of times. And again, in Go, since there isn't a while loop, the for loop is the only loop you can use. So it's not like I often have to tell my students in other classes for other programming languages to pick the for loop for the doing something a specific number of times over a while loop, because in Go there is no while loop, so that's the only choice. So this lesson has just been an overview of a few examples of using a for loop to do something a specific number of times. And I hope you've enjoyed the lesson, and I'll see you in the next lesson.